The house was unusually quiet that afternoon. The huge mansion, which was normally filled with the sound of cars walking around and Jake's serious phone calls, felt peaceful. Vine was sitting on the soft rug in the living room with her little daughter, who was happily playing with the colorful toy. Vine smiled as the baby grabbed the toy with both hands and immediately dropped it. Vine, you dropped it again, sweetheart. The baby looked at her mother with innocent eyes before making a tiny sound. Vine laughed softly and picked up the toy for her. Vine, here you go. Try not to throw it this time. Before the baby could grab it, someone suddenly sat down beside them. Jake, she definitely gets that from you. Vine looked at him and raised an eyebrow. Vine, excuse me? Jake smiled innocently. Jake, nothing. Vine narrowed her eyes at him, but before she could reply, Jake picked up their daughter and placed her carefully on his lap. The dangerous Mafia boss, who could make an entire room go silent with one look, immediately became the softest father in the world. Jake, come here, princess. The baby happily grabbed his shirt and began playing with the buttons. Jake looked down at her with a huge smile. Jake, Daddy missed you. Vine watched him and shook her head. Vine, you were with her for almost the entire morning. Jake looked at her seriously. Jake, that's too long. Vine laughed. Vine, Jake, you were gone for 2 hours. Jake, exactly 2 whole hours. Vine, you're ridiculous. Jake, I am her father. I am allowed to be ridiculous. He kissed the baby cheeks, making her giggle. Jake immediately looked proud. Jake, did you hear that? She laughed because of me. Vine, she laughs at everything. Jake, no, she laughed because I am funny. Vine, you're really trying to convince yourself, aren't you? Jake laughed and gently bounced the baby on his knees. For a few moments they simply stayed like that. Vine watched her husband and daughter together, feeling warmth spread through her chest. Jake had always been protective, but becoming a father had changed him in the sweetest way. He still had his dangerous business outside the house. He still had men who feared him and enemies who would never dare come near him. But the moment he stepped through their front door, everything changed. He became a man who checked whether his daughter was sleeping. The man who woke up in the middle of the night because she made one tiny sound. The man who could spend 20 minutes trying to make her smile. And recently he had become obsessed with one particular word. Jake leaned closer to their daughter. Jake, say daddy. The baby stared at him. Jake smiled. Jake, daddy. The baby blinked. Jake, come on, princess, daddy. The baby suddenly made a completely random sound. Baby, ba ba. Jake's smile disappeared. Jake, no, that's not daddy. Vine covered her mouth to stop herself from laughing. Jake looked at her. Jake, don't laugh. Vine, I'm not. Jake, you are laughing. Vine, because you are teaching her like she is taking an exam. Jake sighed dramatically. Jake, I just want to hear her say daddy once. Vine smiled and leaned closer. Vine, she'll say it when she is ready. Jake, but I have been waiting. Vine, I know. Jake gently kissed her forehead. Jake, maybe she doesn't know how important that word is. Vine smiled. Vine, she is a baby, Jake. She does not know. Jake nodded but still looked determined. Jake, then I'll teach her. Vine laughed. Vine, You're going to turn this into a daily lesson, aren't you? Jake, yes. Ryan, poor baby. Jake suddenly pulled Ryan closer with his free arm. Jake, she'll see. One day she'll say it. Ryan smiled at his confidence. Ryan, until then you are going to keep bothering her. Jake, I'm not bothering her, I'm preparing her. Ryan, preparing her for what? Jake, for the very important job of calling me daddy. Ryan laughed and shook her head. Ryan, you are impossible. Jake leaned closer with a playful smile. Jake, then I guess I need a kiss for being impossible. Ryan, Jake? Before she could finish, he gently kissed her lips. It was soft and brief, just enough to make her smile when they pulled apart. Their daughter suddenly made another little sound between them. Both of them looked down. Jake, was that Daddy? Ryan burst out laughing. Ryan, no, Jake. Jake sighed and looked at the baby dramatically. Jake, fine, I'll keep trying. Ryan rested her head against his shoulder. Ryan, you really love her, don't you? Jake's expression immediately softened. Jake, more than anything, he looked down at their daughter, who was now peacefully playing with his finger. Jake, I never thought I could love someone other than you this much. Ryan smiled. Ryan, you have a big heart. You just hide it from everyone. Jake looked at her and gently kissed her forehead. Jake, not from you. That evening, Jake left for an important meeting. Before walking out, he went to the nursery and kissed his daughter goodbye. Jake, Daddy will be back soon, princess. Then he'll teach you to say Daddy. Ryan stood by the door smiling. Ryan, stop teaching her. Jake looked at her seriously. Jake, I'll teach her when I come back. Ryan laughed as he finally walked away. Neither of them knew that Jake's long-awaited moment was much closer than he thought. Jake returned home later that night than he planned. The moment he stepped through the front door, he loosened his tie and handed his coat to one of his guards. His expression was still serious from the long meeting, but the second he heard a tiny laugh coming from the living room, his face softened. He walked inside and found Ryan sitting on the couch with their daughter in her arms. Jake, there are my girls. Ryan smiled. Ryan, you are finally home. Jake walked straight toward them instead of going to his office. He leaned down and kissed Ryan's forehead, saying, I love you, before gently taking the baby into his arms. Jake, did you miss Daddy? The baby stared at him and touched his cheek. Jake smiled. Jake, I missed you too, princess. Ryan watched them with a soft smile. Ryan, she was waiting for you. Jake, really? Ryan, she kept looking toward the door every time she heard a sound. Jake's expression became even softer. Jake, my little girl was waiting for me. He kissed her cheek repeatedly until the baby started giggling. Jake, I missed that laugh. Ryan, you missed her after some hours? Jake looked at her. Jake, some hours are too long. Ryan laughed. Ryan, you're hopeless. Jake sat beside her with the baby on his lap. For a while they talked about their day while the daughter played with Jake's fingers. Then Jake remembered something. He looked at the baby with a hopeful smile. Jake, Princess? The baby looked up. Jake, what does Daddy say? Vine immediately smiled. Vine, you're starting again? Jake, of course. He gently pointed at himself. Jake, Daddy? The baby stared at him. Jake repeated it slowly. Jake, Daddy. The baby suddenly reached toward his face. Jake leaned closer. Jake, yes. The baby looked directly into his eyes. Baby, Daddy. Everything stopped. Jake froze. Ryan's eyes widened. For a second, neither of them moved. Ryan, Jake? Jake looked at their daughter as if he was not sure he had heard correctly. Jake, what did you say? The baby smiled. Baby, Daddy. Jake's eyes immediately filled with tears. Wine covered her mouth, smiling as she watched him. Jake carefully put his daughter against his chest. Jake, you said it. His voice became shaky. Jake, she actually said it. A tear rolled down his cheek. Wine gently touched his arm. Wine, she finally said it. Jake laughed through his tear and kissed their daughter's forehead again and again. Jake, my baby called me Daddy. He closed his eyes for a moment, holding her tightly but carefully. Jake, I have been waiting for this. Wine smiled warmly. Wine, and now you are crying. Jake quietly wiped his cheek. Jake, I am not crying. Wine raised an eyebrow. Wine, Jake. Another tear rolled down his cheek. Wine, you are definitely crying. Jake laughed softly. Jake, I don't care. He looked down at their daughter again. Jake, she called me Daddy. Wine moved closer and gently wiped his tears with her thumb. Jake looked at her with a small smile. Jake, I'm so happy. Wine's heart melted. She leaned forward and kissed his cheek. Wine, you deserve this happiness. Jake looked at her for a moment before leaning closer and kissing her lips softly. It was a warm, loving kiss filled with all the emotions he could not put into words. When they pulled apart, Jake rested his forehead against hers. Jake, thank you. Wine smiled. Wine, for what? Jake, for giving me a family. Wine's eyes softened. Wine, you gave me one too. Their daughter suddenly said Daddy again. Jake immediately looked down. Jake, did you hear that? She said Daddy again. Wine laughed. Wine, you're going to tell everyone now, aren't you? Jake looked completely serious. Jake, everyone. Wine, Jake, don't. Jake, my men are going to hear about this. Wine started laughing. Wine, they are going to be terrified when their mafia boss calls them just to announce that his baby said Daddy. Jake smiled. Jake, let them be terrified. He kissed his daughter's tiny hand. Jake, this is important. Later that night, Wine found Jake sitting beside the baby's crib. Their daughter was sleeping peacefully. One tiny hand rested near her face. Wine, you should sleep too. Jake looked at the baby. Jake, just 5 more minutes. Wine smiled and sat beside him. Wine, you have been saying that for half an hour. Jake, I know. Reached for Wine's hand and intertwined their fingers. Jake, I spend so much time dealing with things outside the house that sometimes I forget how lucky I am. Wine leaned her head against his shoulder. Wine, you don't have to forget anymore. Jake kissed the top of her head. Jake, I won't. They stayed there quietly, watching their daughter sleep. After a moment, Jake whispered softly, Jake, good night, princess. The baby moved slightly in her sleep. Jake smiled. Jake, Daddy loves you. Wine smiled at him. Wine, she loves you too. Jake looked at his wife and pulled her into his arms. Jake, and I love you more. Wine, more than your daughter? Jake pretended to think. Jake, that's a dangerous question. Wine laughed. Wine, Jake, he kissed her forehead. Jake, I love both of you more than anything. Wine smiled and rested against his chest. For the rest of the night, the weird Mafia boss forgot about business, enemies, and everything waiting outside the walls. All he cared about was the little family sleeping beside him. And every time he remembered that tiny voice saying Daddy, a smile appeared on his face all over again.